Good morning, good morning. Big Square Road.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. Um, let's talk about big picture. I am publishing my timeline report when I think this craziness will really kick in on the private road on Tuesday. That would be tomorrow. Still working on some finishing touches. This is basically a culmination of all my research, including some new stuff that have kind of an idea, I think. Now, last time I did this was in 2007, March, April. That's when I discovered the Road to Ruta stuff, the Road to Ruta comics and the Fed Boston information. I said, hey, they're trying to destroy the system. They're in on the game. Not only in on the game, they're orchestrating the game with the computer programs. And then it took about a year and a half for it actually to happen on September 11th, 2008. About a year, maybe a year and a half. September 11, 2008, and that's when the decision had to be made. Do we bail out the system or do we let it crash? And they bailed it out. This time I don't think it's going to happen. A lot of people say, oh yeah, of course they're going to bail it out, because their head can't get out of that old paradigm. A few things that need to happen for another bailout. One, we need to remove all the information that the public has gained over the last 10 years. And it ain't going to happen. We know how criminal the banks are. Walk down the street, ask anybody, would you agree to a bailout of the banks again? I'll guarantee you no one will say yes. They'll all say no, they all have to go to jail. So there's not going to be no bailout. And Congress has to be able to agree on something, and they can't. So the stage is set for no bailout. And then you get to the ramifications of what does no bailout mean. It comes back to the Economist magazine. I love doing the analysis on the Economist magazine. They caught on that we had caught on to what they were doing, so they pretty much stopped it. You could read some stuff into it still, but I think 2 years ago was when it finally peaked. And they even wrote an article within it's called the World In series. So it was I think the World In 2017 was the last they really came out with stuff. And they wrote an article in there about people reading stuff into the Economist magazine, basically admitting it. Oh, it was just luck. Ridiculous. But yeah, we are at that point. I have my hat on, my Charlie Lee hat, the Phoenix Rising from the last Litecoin Summit. Can't wait to see what kind of stuff they have this year. Hey, we still have positions available at the party, the pre-party. It's costing one Litecoin, whether Litecoin is $24, which a lot of people bought in, or $2,000, which a lot of people will be buying in come October 27th. So there's going to be no crashing. We're going to have guards at the front and the whole thing. And you'll need to be on the list. If you're not on the list, you're SOL, shall we say. Or just pony up a Litecoin. Again, Litecoins will probably be $2,000 by then, hopefully. But you can get one for, what is Litecoin? $130 right now. It's a full day event. Bitcoin Ben, Jason F4, Dick Allgaier, Litecoin Lisa, John Kim. All my friends are going to be there. Charlie's going to show up supposedly, which would be cool. He did last time. We got a whole bunch of new songs by then, hopefully. The band is getting back together, and it's just a blast. And you get to hang out with some of your YouTube favorites. I know Ben had a big meetup in Jersey this weekend. I heard it went great. If you guys went, give me a thumbs up and a like. Was it thumbs up or like on? I don't even know anymore because I don't ask anymore. I hate YouTube. That's why I'm doing all the Patreon stuff. If you want the juicy stuff, go to Patreon. Road to Ruta. But the timeline report was just private road members. So if you're interested, go to roadtoruta.com right here and hit subscribe today. And then that'll get you into the member area. And that's the member area right now. The fear greed index is extreme greed. It doesn't mean much. It means if you're going to sell, it's better selling when it's green instead of red, which is extreme fear. So if you need cash for car payment or something like that, yeah, now would be a good time to sell it. And that's why we have cryptos, to use them, right? But no, massive bull run has begun. I'm not saying there won't be pullbacks. I'm not saying there won't be orchestrated pullbacks. Just not now because nobody's in. There's no weak hands left. They're all gone. They haven't come back yet. No weak hands have come back. They're starting to. They're starting to get a whiff. And then the new public needs to come in too, another few billion people. So this is going to be the mother of all runs. This is like the gold run from $35 to $850. This is when the public gets in, and it hasn't happened yet. So I don't expect any kind of long drawn out. No, clearly not a long drawn out crash. There might be a flash crash manipulation kind of crash where they flash crash Bitcoin down to $2,000 in a 5-hour period, and it bounces back, and everybody goes crazy. Or we might just see the exchanges get attacked and shut down. All the exchanges at the same time, which is a high possibility given what I think is going to happen to the stock market, the bond market, the gold market, which I am talking about in the report. So if you're interested in the report, go to roadruda.com, hit subscribe today, and you get a free silver Ruda coin, the coolest coin ever made. They're all individually numbered. There's Ruda, there's the cave of gold in the Grand Canyon, and you also get a Veritasium token in a paper wallet for you to save for your kid's first home. How's that? One Veri token. So anyway, back to where we were. A lot of people, you're looking at the cryptos, or you're looking at gold and silver, saying, "Oh, come on!" All you think about is, what is it going to be to really get Litecoin up as a means of exchange, so that we have growth throughout the population and mass adoption and things like that. It's going to take something very simple, and that very simple thing is the reason I got into investing in the first place. Is that the old system is just that bad. It is so bad, so horrific. The amount of criminality that goes on. If you want to talk about drug dealing and money laundering, like they love to talk about in gold, silver, and cryptos, go to the money center in Florida, Jamie Dimon's money center from J.P. Morgan, where they transfer $5 trillion a day goes in and out of that thing. That's real money laundering. That's real fraud. That's real criminality. So now Bitcoin and Litecoin and gold and silver are not the big tools of the criminals. The current system is the big tool of the criminals, and it keeps us enslaved, and that's what we need to get rid of. And we're going to get rid of all the debt too. And all it takes is a little derivative meltdown. I'm going to talk about it in the report that gets published tomorrow as well, where we stand on the derivative, and it's not just Deutsche Bank. There's another huge mother of all bombs for the derivative bomb that I'll be talking about. But absolutely, I do believe The Economist magazine was correct. It was 2018 that this was supposed to happen, and I believe that a year was taken away from it, a shifted year, to give the system a little more time. And that's why the cryptos crashed. That's why gold and silver have been stuck in the bottoms. That year could be carved out. It should have happened last year. That's what The Economist was predicting. I believe it's going to happen very soon. So again, I talked about that in the report. So when you sit there and you look at your cryptos, you're like, oh yeah, this is great. Maybe I should, I didn't sell at the top last time. Maybe we're at the top now and I'm going to sell. We haven't hit the reason to get into cryptos yet. And that's the destruction of the old system. You won't sell your cryptos. When you fully understand cryptos, you won't sell them. You won't sell them for financial gain in dollars. Why would you? Why would you sell the future money to make some past, a current form of currency? What are you going to do? Sit there with $1 million and watch the old system die and then scramble to get back into cryptocurrencies when the rest of the world's scrambling to get in? No. It is hodl time, my friends. Big time hodl time. Cryptos are doing great. I don't even know what the overall year-to-date gains are, but they're really good. Especially like Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. Ethereum's been doing well too. But there's a reason for that. And it's not because they've changed all that much. They've gotten better. Yes, they've gotten stronger, more widespread, easier to buy now than they ever were. More accepted by regulators, more accepted by governments. They know it's coming. They're just going to have to grin and bear it. But that's not the reason. The reason is the old system's so bad and on its last legs, and anything could tip that apple cart over, then everybody would be rushing into crypto. So I'm just telling you, my advice has always been hodl, hodl, hodl until the end game plays out. And the end game is the destruction of the old system, which would be the best thing for humanity because all the debt goes away. Can you imagine just owning your house out flat out? You own it. Remember, the bank didn't have the money they lent you to buy your house. They created it out of thin air. And then they sold it off to mortgage-backed securities, which are floating around in people's pension funds. And what a horrible investment that is. Remember, because the system was built on the same money managers investing in the same things, so that's why the price goes up of the stock market, the bond market, the housing market, and cheap money was flying around. Cheap money will always be here. The problem is they probably won't even be giving loans because these banks are going down because of their derivative problem. So it will be the destruction of money, not the hyperinflation route. But I don't see it leveling off anywhere because you got to get rid of $2 quadrillion worth of derivatives. And that ain't going to happen unless you destroy the entire system and start fresh. But doing that, all of a sudden, you're fully funded because you have to reallocate money. Your home's paid off, your car's paid off, you don't have any debts at all. That's a big problem in the world is debt. Even for governments, they want it too. They're massively in debt. The U.S. is the largest debtor nation in the world, massively. And we lie about it, and we're still the largest. So massive debts will just get wiped off the face of the earth. Along with that, if somebody has debt, somebody else has the other side of that book, the asset. And that's the criminals that we all know and love, the banksters, and the big money. They'll lose those electronic assets. It was not a prudent thing to do. People say, well, that's not fair for savers, Bix. People have worked their whole lives and bought stocks and bonds, and that's free market. If you don't realize the risk you're taking to buy into the third-party system, these are all third-party assets. You don't control those assets at all. They don't even let you keep your certificates anymore unless you go through all these big rigmaroles. I remember doing that with silver mining stocks. I'd have all these certificates at home. I got robbed once too, but they didn't get certificates. And that's where I learned you got to keep your assets off-site. It's crazy, 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 crazy world that we live in. But you can't get stock certificates anymore. So you're totally reliant on your broker, your dealer, Schwab, Fidelity, who keeps theirs at the DTCC. And if you know anything about the DTCC, is one of the most criminal organizations known to man. The Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. Done plenty of that's the DTCC is what flooded during Hurricane Sandy, $35 trillion worth of paper assets. Oh, by the way, Michael Dunn forgot to lock up the safe before Hurricane Sandy came rolling in, so they flooded the basement vault at 55 Water Street. They pumped the water out and then they set it on fire. I am not shitting you. This is the largest depository of paper wealth on planet Earth. And they said, oh, no, don't worry, it was all backed up. How much fraud do you think was covered up? 2 months before that, they moved all the swaps from gold and silver from the COMEX warehouses to the DTCC warehouse. And Michael Dunn, the commissioner, moved from the CFTC to, guess where? The DTCC. He was in charge of that warehouse. He was the guy who left the door open during Hurricane Sandy. Criminality is bizarre and beyond belief, but it is all over the place. That is why you invest in cryptocurrencies and keep them in your own possession. That is why you invest in gold and silver and keep them in your own possession. Because everything else is just a promise. And it's a promise by criminals. Speaking of criminals, let's see how the silver market is reacting to the Friday afternoon slam. Look at that thing right there. Bang! Can't have silver going over $15.50. It is literally, if you look at the silver chart, and I'll show you in a second, it is just coming to the wedge formation, as you traders love to. It's a huge wedge from 2011 when Bill Daley was put as Obama's chief of staff to rig the silver price down. Went from $49.50 all the way down to $15. Has been just stuck there on a small little wedge formation. Let me show you the wedge over the last 10 years. Look at that. Can you see the wedge? And you draw a line right here, 15. I don't have my computer drawing skills right now. But this baby is getting tighter and tighter in here. It is ready for a bang. And some people say, oh no, it'll break down below. There's no silver left. There's no silver left on the planet. Everybody's going to be running into silver. Silver has been a monetary asset a lot longer than gold has been. So yes, we are in a wedge formation, as Tone Days would say. And as soon as silver is released from the 150 years of price suppression, yeah, it'll go to $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Ultimately, I think it'll go 1-to-1 with gold before it pulls back to the in-ground ratio. Was probably, it might be 1-to-1 with all the hidden gold. There's not that much hidden silver. There's some, but there's not as much, because silver deposits are mainly closer to the surface, and gold deposits can be on the surface, but mainly deep down. So that means most of the silver has already been mined. If you look at the periodic table, it shows all the elements and all the, how long they have before they run out at current consumption levels. Silver is right up there at the top. I think it's 11 or 12 years. Obviously, they keep finding more silver, but the rest have like 100 years, 200 years of reserves. Silver does not, because we've been using it in little bits and pieces. I call it consuming silver. So yes, I'm doing a silver interview coming up. Did I say? Oh, I'm doing a huge interview today with one of my old silver buddies and then a crypto buddy, Mr. Jeff Berwick. Yes, I asked Jeff to come on to talk about freedom and the Facebook Libra coin. If there's anybody in the world you want to talk to about freedom and fake book or whatever he calls it, it's Jeff Berwick, who has taught me a ton about the evils of government. And don't rely on government to fix the problems. They are the problem. Jeff is a master at that. And I wanted to get his take on what's going on with the Libra coin, the pros and cons, because there are both. We both agree on that. We'll agree on most everything. Although you start dig deep into the Libra coin, it's kind of set up kind of like EOS. Not really exactly. It's its own blockchain with a different kind of. It's not even a blockchain really. There's no sequence of blocks. It's different. So we're going to talk about that, and I will post it as soon as I can after the interview, which would be later today, and probably post that on Patreon first. All right. And again, if you want to join the Patreon channel, Road to Ruda at Patreon Road to Ruda. Lots of good stuff there. YouTube keeps banning everything I do, so I'm still going to try to post to YouTube, but most of the stuff's going to go on Patreon. And yeah, and I am giving away the silver coin on Friday, right after the, Friday happy hour. If you haven't seen the Friday happy hour yet, go to Road to Ruda YouTube channel and click on the Friday happy hours. Yes, there was a winner last time, but she hasn't contacted me yet, so I don't know. I might have to give away 2 coins. But on the first, I will be giving away the Road to Ruda autographed comic book. Right here, Wishes and Rainbows. This is the Fed comic book. This is 9.8 certified, big square autograph. That's the big one, and I think it went for $2,000 at eBay. I'll be giving that away on July 1st. July 1st to all Patreon members. I think it's $10. Patreon is $10 a month, less than 30 cents a day. And also private road members. So if you want to join the Pirate Road, get the timeline update that's coming out tomorrow. Welcome down the road to Ruda. It's a crazy world, and you're not going to hear this kind of stuff from most people. If you do hear it from most people, they probably stole it from me. Some of it. And I don't mind that. When I put information out there, hell, I listen to everybody, and I get information from everybody too. I just don't want them to take my videos and call them their own, which happens on YouTube. YouTube really sucks. It's really bad. Anyway, join the Road to Ruta today. Give me a like and thumbs up. And if you want to get free emails, just go to Road to Ruta on the left side, put your name and email address in, and you get added to the list. I send out emails daily, 1 or 2 daily updates on where we are and links to videos and reports and things like that. All right, this is Big Swear, Road to Ruta. Talk to you later.